was emphatic that I should talk to you. And after our first meeting, I said, I want to work with her.
Yeah, I remember. I was not expecting that. And you were like, okay, what's it gonna take?
Yeah. So this, even though you say it's practice, it is also a gift because it's the care, it's the nurturing, it's the integrity, the representation, the honor even. And a ghostwriter, a really good ghostwriter, you can't tell that they exist because they were really more of a conduit.
Yeah,
And I would say that's almost a better description of who you are to Michelle and myself, is that you extend.
because I'm also so intuitive. I had a feeling something was wrong for about 2 weeks. And I kept seeing these messages in my head saying, I need to go home. I need to go home. And I was actually planning to go home. When I get this call saying something is wrong, you need to come home immediately. And I was having some tea, and I remembered it in a very dramatic fashion. The cup sort of fell and it broke. And I just stood there frozen. And before I knew what was happening, my cousin was there. He started packing my bags. He's like, we're going home. And I come home, I still don't know what's happening, right? I've been told somebody's sick, my mom is sick, dad is sick, and I don't know, but somehow by the end, and this was a 12, 13 hour bus ride from New Delhi to Almora, my little town. So by the time I get to Almora,
Gone around the world, and I don't think it's necessarily colonization of India, but they're just Indians I've seen everywhere. So they love many countries.
we love traveling also. We're everywhere.
Yes. Well, then I guess I'm half Indian. I'll tell you.
Yeah, also we know some Hindi, so you're in already.
Yeah, and you're going to teach me how to speak it better. I guess I just want to share with the audience that even though I was there for a year, I would have been fluent if they made me. That's how good the experience was. Welcome to the Dr. Smiley Show. This is soon to be Dr. Anjali. Can I say that for right now? And it is Joshi.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you so
so
much for having me.
So even though you are not a doctor yet, you are in process of doing that. And so I will say in process, you are becoming one. Now we have done
Yes.
full integrity because we did not say you were not one because you were in your process.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Dr. Smiley Show.
Thank you.
This is a show that honors and amplifies the goodness of leaders who are heart centered and have a purpose and value that really brings a lot of positivity to the world. So I'm excited to have you on the
Oh,
show. And I think you might be the first person I've had on the show that lives in India.
mhm. Oh, great. That makes me a pioneer of sorts.
You're a pioneer of sorts. Well, you're a pioneer. You were a pioneer of sorts before you got on the show, but I'm excited that we are expanding the reach of the world because the Dr. Smiley Show is a world and global thought. It's about bringing the world together. So, the first question I'd like to ask is where you were born and what your childhood was like.
Oh, I was born in a very small town in the Himalayan foothills called Almora. Um, and so this meant that I was also born into a mountainous, hilly terrain, and I grew up very, very close and connected to nature. I was also one of those different kids. So
In what way?
I was, in a lot of ways, I was quieter. I felt like what I've now started calling my mind meadow. People have a mind palace, but I actually have a meadow. So I'd be very, very lost in my own thoughts. I was not somebody who was very into makeup or very much into making friendships, or I mean, I liked having people, but I feel like I was, how I was very Byronic in a way. Like I loved hanging around trees and just thinking and writing and
You used the
reading
word.
books.
You said Byronic.
Yeah, like the poet Byron.
No.
So, because he was a very mellow, moody guy, and his poems also spoke a lot of that. So that's the word that's my literature background coming in. Very,
Are you moody?
very, not moody per se, but I think I'm mellow at times. I'm somebody who I really enjoy being with my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have a vast imagination. So as a kid also, I was somebody who was very, very imaginative. I had characters, stories, everything invented around me. I used to pretend that I'm in some alternate universe. So that was me on my own. But I also grew up in a slightly more difficult context because um, where I was born, having girls was not seen as a good thing. And my parents, two of them, me and my sister. So, which meant that everything from education to being allowed to play or being able to go outside was a little more difficult than it was for the rest. And we were constantly being told, oh, you poor thing, you only have girls. And I think very early on in life, I decided that just because people think that I can't do something because I'm a girl or I don't deserve the opportunities, I started working extra hard. And that meant that I excelled a lot in academics. When I was growing up, I made sure that I earned my ticket to get out of there and make something of myself.
Very good. So we have someone to thank that you are in my life and that you're on the show. We have Dr. Michelle Mraz, and I wanted to enter her in very early in the show because of what a difference she's made in both of our lives.
Absolutely. Michelle is just incredible and she's the light of my life.
So when did you guys meet?
We met via work, actually. I think Michelle had visited Women Economic Forum where she was awarded, and she met people at my work there. And then we connected where I was actually hosting her for a live show. And I was inviting her to do some of these training with us. And once I moved on from that workplace, I reconnected with Michelle. She needed some help, if I could support her in some way. And we were already on good terms. We really liked each other's company. We really enjoyed the conversations that we were making. We were on the same page about a lot of things. She said, yeah, I just need some help with my business. Do you want to help me out? And I was like, okay. That was 2020. And we're still working together.
Yes, you are. And as a result, she says to me, you need help, and I know just the person.
Yeah. And that's
And
how we met.
and we have been working together pretty much all year,
Yeah.
pretty much. But thank you for all you've done. It has made a big difference, and I know that when people see great content, they see great strategy, engaging content. It could be the person doing it themselves, but it's typically there's a team that has to help that person. There's just so much to do in this world now to make sure what you're thinking, what you're saying is actually showing up everywhere where it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So that's a gift of yours.
I think so. I think it's also a gift, but it's also a lot of practice because so much of what we do comes with learning and relearning and unlearning. So when I met you, right, I came with a certain set of, oh, this is what I can do for your content.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it, I took the time to actually really understand who you are as a person because I cannot just copy some other leader and have the same content strategy for you because you are about other people. You amplify, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what I wanted to do for you. Your content has to be you, not me. I am the channel, but it has to live and breathe who you are.
Yeah, we've had some pretty deep conversations. You say I have some interview questions for you today, and we've gone down some deep rabbit holes or tunnels of thought that I almost wasn't expecting, and I was happy about it because it was stuff I'd even shared with you. Sometimes I said I've never shared this before.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, when you're on a purpose-driven life, it is it's hard to explain it sometimes, or it's hard to have other people relate. And you did a miraculous job there, and I think that's why Michelle was emphatic that I should talk to you. And after our first meeting, I said I want to work with her.
Yeah, I remember. I was not expecting that. And you were like, okay, what's it going to take?
Yeah. So this, even though you say it's practice, it is also a gift because it's care, it's the nurturing, it's the integrity, the representation, the honor even. And a ghostwriter, a really good ghostwriter, you can't tell that they exist because they were really more of a conduit.
Yeah,
And I would say that's almost a better description of who you are to Michelle and myself is that you extend us through you.
that's my purpose and job.
Yeah, and I think not only do you do it very well, but I don't think it's as easy a job. I think it's something that takes a very high level of intuition, compassion, empathy, psychology, and I guess that's why you're so daggone good at it. So you're actually at this time willing to help other people like Michelle and myself.
Yeah, I want more heart-centered leaders like yourself, and I want to amplify you.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little more about how you fell into this? Why did this
Hmm.
bother you the most?
I think I've always been a storyteller. I grew up on stories, and like in the Himalayan foothills, you have so many of them, which are mystical, metaphysical. My grandmother, my grandfather, my father, all these people told me stories growing up.
Hmm.
And And as good as I was in academics, I think today all I remember from all that are the stories. And that's something I always carry with me because people, and this is what Maya Angelou also said, right? People will forget what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Stories made me feel safe. They made me feel seen. And
Hmm.
that's I think exactly why I do what I do. I fell into it by accident. I did not think I would be a content marketer or I would ever do marketing, right? I was on an academic track, but then somebody offered me, and I was looking for extra money, so somebody offered me the role of a freelance writer. And as I started doing it, I really enjoyed it. And then I joined them full time. And then I had a team of my own.
Hmm.
And I not only do I really enjoy this, I notice writers also love working with me when I'm in a position where I have to strategize and manage them. I also love to actually see the kind of impact my work is having via writing. And fortunately, today we have the tools to be able to track it, to see how many people are reading, responding. And then I just kept going, then people found me gradually, from one job to another. And that's how I fell into it. And even for Michelle, a lot of it has happened by chance. And I think this was really the universe's way of making it happen. I, again, content marketing, if you really try to understand it, it sounds like a very fancy-ish term. But for me, it is still about stories. Even behind all the analytics, I'm somebody who really wants to understand if, let's say, somebody has landed on your website, but they have not clicked on it. What did not speak to them? Right? What were the reasons behind it? Because numbers also tell a story. They're also a form of language. And within my marketing, that's what I like to bring. I don't like bone dry marketing. I like marketing that has soul, which is why I think I also attract people who have a lot of soul. And that's what I have done. And the results have been there, right? There were times when we were able to double the revenue for the last clinic that I was working with. In my last role, I was actually working to sell two nonprofits. And we did not know how to do it, right? Because nonprofits anyway struggle with a lot of money. So we figured podcasts would be a way that we could approach them and actually warm up to them. So in most of these roles, you've had to get creative, you've had to get a little scrappy. And I think that's the fun of it. That's the joy of it when you don't know what you have to do next.
I think philanthropy causes are the easiest because they either are doing a result or they're not, and they're either touching humanity or not. And I think your point about the numbers is uh, is the left right brain working together. You have the creativity of the engagement, the storytelling, and then you have the testing. Is it working, and how could it be tweaked? Because sometimes it's the amount of time, sometimes it's the choice of words, sometimes it's the graphics, the illustrations, the cover. Since you know somebody that I know, and they're going to promote this show, and not only are they going to promote this show, they're probably the perfect client for you. I will just say that we just got this in the mail yesterday, and the reason I want to show this to you is because the message "seize the day with a smile," and it is just one of those books. When you read it, you're like, I can't wait to give this to somebody else because it touches the heart so much. And since you just talked about a story, I'm going to give you the 1 minute version of this story.
Please.
This boy Kenny wakes up and he's got a little bit of trepidation. He feels, my gosh, I have my math test. I just don't understand this particular principle in math as much as I'd like. And it's tryouts for soccer today. And I know I'm not the best. So he decides to go to the mirror and he smiles in the mirror and he goes, that smile made me feel better. Maybe this will help me with my anxiety today. So he sees the bus driver, and the bus driver is really grumpy, as he typically is. And he smiles at the bus driver and just goes to his seat. He gets to he gets to class, and the second class comes and he takes the math test and he smiles at the teacher when he receives the test and changes his frame, and he does better than he thought he was going to do. Then at the practice, he is not chosen All his friends are chosen. The only reason he wanted to be on soccer is to be with his friends. But instead of him thinking he's not worthy, he's not good enough, he decided to stand up and clap. And his coach noted that and said, wow, this is a good character. This kid is going to go places. Later, it pans over to the bus driver who thinks, wow, that kid smiled at me. And it reminds me of when I was on a school bus. And he thinks about his sister, and he calls his sister in Kenya, and they had the best time ever. And he says, you know what? I'm committed to smiling to kids on the bus from now on. And the story goes on, but it's a beautiful story, just like you said. And it's done correctly. The engagement will be huge. The sharing will be huge because it's about touching the soul.
Yeah.
And to be
And I love
vulnerable
that.
with you, that story touched me so much. But the conversations we've had touched me too. And that meant that you were getting me, but I was able to also convey to you at the level that I was touched.
Yeah.
It's very deep because if you're in business and you're not touched by what you're doing, it's probably not your passion or your purpose being played at the fullest. And
Yeah.
it's something to look at. It's not whether you leave the profession, it's what do you do to create that profession to have impact or to create a better experience for humanity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that's what you are doing in partnership. And I think that, and if you work with a heart centered leader, you will have them prosper, you will prosper, but the world will benefit.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
I like to think of myself as your co-pilot.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. It's definitely a partnership. And,
Yeah.
when you're relinquishing the keys to the plane or to your social media or to your messaging in your life, that is a tremendous amount of trust. But given to the right person, you grow. And given to the wrong person, you didn't do your due diligence. Is usually what it is. Um, and so I'm just excited about the future I get to have with you. Is there anything you'd like to add? Oh, I wanted to ask about your family. So we kind of skipped from childhood, and you went to college, and you're working on your doctorate. But do you have children?
No, I'm married, but I don't have kids.
Okay.
Um, I'm currently at my mother's place. I'm visiting her and my sister, and we have a dog. My father died by suicide in 2015, and I think that's what really changed my trajectory. I was in college back then,
Hmm.
20 years. Um, and I was living in my hostel, right? And I'd started because I'm also so intuitive. I had a feeling something was wrong for about 2 weeks. And I kept seeing these messages in my head saying, I need to go home. I need to go home. And I was actually planning to go home when I get this call saying something is wrong. You need to come home immediately. And I was having some tea, and I remembered in a very dramatic fashion, the cup sort of fell and it broke. And I just stood there frozen. And before I knew what was happening, my cousin was there. He started packing my bags. He's like, we're going home. And I come home, I still don't know what's happening, right? I've been told somebody's sick, my mom is sick, dad is sick, and I don't know, but somehow by the end, and this was a 12, 13 hour bus ride from New Delhi to Almora, my little town. So by the time I get to Almora, something in my heart has settled, and I know it's my father without anybody telling me.
Mm.
And I go home and I see, yep, there he is. He's passed away. He poisoned himself, and I can see some foam coming out of his mouth. And I think in that moment I just completely, I think I went into shock now in retrospect. But the first thing I thought of was, okay, where's my mom? Where's my sister? And I ran to them and I saw that my mom was in pieces. My sister hadn't eaten in 2 days. She was crying. And I immediately had to step up. And from handling paperwork to the aftermath and to then eventually having the time and space to grieve, I think that moment changed my life dramatically. In retrospect, I'm grateful for the way it changed my life, but I've had to work with that grief, that also led me to being a mental health advocate. And especially from where I come, you don't talk about mental health, right? The moment you start talking about emotions and vulnerability, you're seen as weak.
Hmm.
But I really wish somebody had told my father, it's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to cry, even if you're a man. It's okay for you to share that you're not doing okay. And that would have made a huge difference. So when I'm not working, that's what I do. And that's what I also, so, you've published my memoir as well, where I'm writing, I've written about these experiences and what they've taught me. And I think one of the biggest things that they've taught me that people have immense capacity to be cruel, but people also have immense capacity to be generous. I had support coming in from places I did not expect. And it did not end there, right? Because we also lost the only earning member of our family. So it all fell on me. And things got so bad, and there was so much stigma and rumors around and sensationalism when somebody dies by suicide. People want to really understand, it shocks them. And when they can't understand what's going on, you have stories that come up, you have a lot of anger that comes towards you. So then we realized my family was also being bullied and targeted in that small group, that community that we were a part of. And as a result of which, we actually had to leave the town and move to a nearby town and start our life here from scratch. So by the time I was 25, um, I had moved cities. I was supporting my family full time. I had built a house from scratch. And if anything, I think it made me realize just how much power I hold and also just how much good is there in the world, even though bad things happen.
Well, I want to do a geography lesson for the folks to include myself.
Mhm.
As I think I shared with you, I lived in New Delhi.
Yeah.
I lived there for a year, my first year of school. And it was a beautiful experience, only in that I don't remember anything bad happening. And I went to school every day as the only white kid in the entire school. And I was accepted. And I don't remember being celebrated, but I was certainly accepted. So I want to I want to share the map of India. I want you to help me show where it is that we're talking about.
Okay.
I'd like to also say that you have volunteered, and I'm holding you to this, and so you can correct it on air and say I did not volunteer for this, Dr. Smiley. But I told you the only one in the world I have not seen is the Taj Mahal.
Hmm. Yeah, I
So
have volunteered.
yeah, so when Dr. Michelle and I come to visit you, and I get to meet
Very
you for
good.
the time, we want to take authors to see the Taj Mahal. And I've seen every one of the world except for the Taj Mahal, yet I lived in that country for a year. And I lived in that country for a year without a spoon or a fork or a knife. And for that matter, no chair, except for, I guess, at school. But we sat on pillows and we ate with our hands. So
Yeah.
do the geography lesson.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so this is obviously the beautiful country of India. And
Mhm.
Delhi is up here.
Yes.
And Mumbai is way south, right?
Yes. You see MH that's written
You see my arrow?
um,
Do you see my
right in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. Go up.
go up? Okay.
Right here, MH
Right here?
under this. Right under.
Oh, right under. Okay,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So this is Maharashtra. Mumbai is the capital.
I'm gonna move this up a little bit.
There you go. You
Right here?
see? Just no, no, just towards the sea.
Towards the sea.
Yeah. Yeah. Scroll below. No, no, keep scrolling, keep going down. Yeah. Yeah. Keep going, keep going. Towards your extreme left and at the bottom of this page.
I see it down here.
Yeah, right above this.
Right above
This
it. Okay.
is,
So I'm really getting close. Now let me move this up. Here's Mumbai. Okay.
yeah, right.
So I've been to Mumbai mainly through a cruise. I've been to Chennai through a cruise as well.
Which is
Where's Chennai?
Chennai is in South India, South India. So you have to go further down.
I've been to Goa.
Mm-hmm.
So Chennai is way down here, right?
Yeah, above this. Wait, wait. I need you to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you see right towards the right. Yeah, just go straight right.
There it is. There it is, Chennai.
Yeah.
So these are
Very good.
ports. These are ports that cruise ships will sometimes go to, and then Accra
Yeah.
is where the Taj Mahal is, and
Close to New Delhi.
there it is. I see it Agra, right here, right,
Yeah.
and the Taj Mahal's here. And now to show people where's your town? You said it's 12 hours south of New Delhi.
No, you actually north. You have to go towards the Himalayas from here.
To the
Go
north.
up.
Huh?
Yeah, you see Uttarakhand. Yeah. No, no, right under this. Yeah.
This
This is
one,
a neighbor. Yeah. No, no, the one that starts with U.
you. Am I going
UT.
higher or lower?
Yeah. Yeah. Just go on your right. Yeah. Dehradun. You see Dehradun?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That's where I am.
that's where you are now.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So New Delhi, and this is 12 hours, huh? That's a quite a distance. From
Yeah.
there is 12 hours on bus.
Yeah. From Dehradun, it's 6 hours, but from Almora, it's 12 hours. Almora is further in. But
Okay.
if you zoom in, you'll see Almora too.
Super. Well, thank you for the geography lesson. I didn't feel that some people watching would understand what all these cities meant, but I love India. I love the people of India. I know that, like any country, there's some cruelty and there's some bad stuff that happens, but my experience of India has been absolutely hospitable and beautiful and loving. I always am
Yeah.
excited to eat the food and meet the people of India, and I think it's what you give is what you get. I have so much love for the Indian people. I receive it so quickly back as well. But I think it's a natural aspect of the culture. I think India,
Yeah.
India and Cambodia just rise very high to me as far as how hospitality is received, or how serious it is taken that you are a guest to feel like a king or a queen.
Yeah. We actually have a saying that says Atithi Devo Bhava. So guests are equal to gods. And that's how we treat them.
Say that again.
Atithi means guest. Devo means godlike. Bhava is. So a guest is like a god.
So I'm going to give you a challenge, Anjali,
Okay.
future Dr. Anjali.
Yes.
The challenge is I would like your show to be the first show that is translated into Hindi and Urdu. Now
Okay.
I know there's a lot of languages, but would you agree those two are more prevalent?
In the region, yes.
Kind of even in the world. I've
Yeah.
so it's interesting, but Chinese, Mandarin, or any Chinese language, and there's plenty of them as well, they stay inside the country more. They don't seep out, whereas French and Spanish, because of colonization, has really gone around the world. And I don't think it's necessarily colonization of India, but they're just Indians I've seen everywhere. So they love many countries.
We love traveling also. We're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yes. Well, then I guess I'm half Indian. I'll tell you
Yeah.
from
Also, we know some Hindi. So you're in already.
yeah, and you're going to teach me how to speak it better. I guess I just want to share with the audience that even though I was there for a year, I would have been fluent if they made me. That's how good the experience was, is I didn't have to do anything. I just got to enjoy. But I do remember counting ek, do, teen, char, panch, che, sat, at, no, te. Is that good?
Thus.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. Almost there.
almost there. And with your training, and then because I got in trouble, or I shouldn't say in trouble, there was not, kind of the warnings of jelly jow, like come quickly, or there was a
Mhm.
bankaro, close the door. And
Yeah.
me, there really was experiences of a servant that had to be on duty to protect the house from the snake,
Yeah.
which I that was just part of life there. It was just so interesting.
Yeah. And you know where I grew up, what was a part of life? Leopards.
Really.
So yeah, because it's the Himalayan region, so there's leopards around, there's lots of other wild animals, but especially where I grew up, because there's also some deforestation that has happened. A lot of the leopards moved into human territories, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, some of them became human eaters.
Hmm.
So when we were growing up, um, we used to climb to school because there was no other mode of transport available. I used to actually hike 2 miles or so to reach my school.
Wow.
And when I was just graduating in 2012, there was a man-eater leopard around the area, which had eaten 16 people already. So we started going to school in groups.
Yeah, but because you were a woman, it wasn't going to eat you. It was only eating men.
No, it ate 16 women to be, but it was called a man-eater, but it ate 16 women
I see.
because women in the region go to the forests to get grass for the cattle. The work is very physical outside the house too. So it ate these people, and it was so funny that now that I think of it, we there were 10 of us who would gather, and then we would just take our little bags, and then we would hike to school. It was normal. It was normal for our teacher to say, if there's a leopard in front of you, you just need to like either you do nothing or you just raise your arm so that the leopard feels that you're bigger than it and it leaves you alone. So we were given these leopard survival tips in school.
And for those 16 that were eaten, they didn't get those tips, or the tips didn't work too well, or
They
they
didn't go
be,
to school.
or they became the tips.
Yeah,
That's
it
very
was.
sad. So you're saying those tips really work?
I have no idea. Thankfully, I've never faced a leopard. I've just
Yeah.
seen them from a distance. I hope I never have to use them.
It's kind of the same for a shark. You got to
Mm,
stay still. If you leave, the shark says, "Oh, good, and there's a live bait trying to get away from me."
yeah, yeah. And the leopard is a cat, right? It loves to chase.
It does. It does. I'm sure. I'm sure, like the shark, it's about hitting the face or something if there is a problem. But I guess I'll have to do my
Mm,
research after this because I want to go. I
yeah,
want to go meet the leopard.
yeah, yeah.
There was a question I was going to pose about. Oh yes, the cattle. Cattle are sacred.
Yes, cows especially. But where I come from, because we're also, mountain people, we call ourselves Kumaunis in
Mhm.
the region. For us, a lot of not just cattle, but also a lot of plants are sacred. So we have regional versions of main Hindu festivals, which are very, very connected to nature. For example, it's monsoons here now, so we have a festival called Harela. That means, and as just as a symbolic thing, and because we want good harvest and we want nature to flourish, we take some seeds, we take it in a little carton, and we grow it for about 10 days. And when after the 10 days, the festival is celebrated, it's harvested, and everybody's given a little bit of it. So, not just cattle, cows are, of course, sacred. There's other animals who are sacred. For example, an owl is considered the vehicle of goddess Lakshmi. There's a mouse is considered to be the vehicle of God Ganesha. Um, so I think the natural world as a whole is sacred and is pious.
I remember my entertainment when I was in India is that my grandfather, my dad was in Vietnam, so my mom chose to live in India with her dad, and he would get me comics, Krishna comics, and
Mhm.
the,
Oh,
the different gods. I have them downstairs. I should have brought them up to show them off, but maybe I'll get some pictures and show them. But I always enjoyed the comics because they were the hero's journey. It
yeah.
was beautiful principles of character.
Yeah.
So did you have some of those comics?
I did not grow up reading comics at all.
Okay.
Um, Also, we didn't have a lot of them when I was growing up. So, I mean, also we weren't rich enough to be able to spend on comics. So I just read the newspaper over and over again because I love reading.
Yeah, I'm trying to something I'll have to research later because they were very old Indian comics, and the graphics were just so amazing. I'm going to yeah, I found it. I found it. Okay, good. I found it. I'm going to show it off real quick. I had to add Krishna to it, and then it turned into so this is actually the comic I have. I have that comic. Isn't that crazy?
It's quite the coincidence.
Yeah, it is. That and obviously if I open it's this company right here that made them all, and I have about 20 different ones. Isn't that
Hmm.
fun?
I'm going to check them out after the show because I never read comics as a kid, but as an adult, I love children's books.
Well, awesome. All right. Well, uh, what else would you like to talk about in the guise of either work or passion or living to be happy? What makes you happiest?
Hmm. I think being on my own and being with animals. I love seeing a dog, and I love just observing and occupying the same space as a cat,
Hmm.
because I think they're just, if you're ever feeling stressed, I think yes, animals are the most accessible way for you to come back to the moment because they're always living in the moment. They're usually happy, they are playful, they're joyful, they have a lot of fun, and I find them extremely funny. So,
They are
yeah,
funny.
whenever sad, I'd actually go look at an animal.
All right. Well, I look forward to meeting you someday. When my son says, Daddy, I want to be alone, I always say to him, Can I be alone with you?
Mm. Yeah,
Because for me, I love being alone to write. I like being alone to think. So I relate to that, to the Da Vinci side of me. But the other side is such a social being that I crave connection, which I guess is why I'm called Ken, connection.
yeah.
One of the things we talked about recently was the movies, RRR. I
Hmm.
shared how much that movie impacted me, and I shared it with Michelle, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that you were so right. This movie is unbelievable." Well, I saw the documentary of how they made the movie, and Bollywood is no joke. I mean, I
Mm.
I would say in some
Yeah,
ways they're superior. They crank out a more entertaining, pristine, compelling story with lots of character development, and also
mm.
I say this without causing friction in the world, but they they don't do happy Hollywood endings. They do it to a degree, but they do it with there's a lot of pain and suffering in the truth of what the story had to share for the triumph
Yeah.
to be embraced. I just saw this is what I mean by I'm getting a little dicey here. I just saw Mission Impossible: The Reckoning Part Two with my son, 3 hours, and it was so far fetched. The entire movie was so far fetched. You couldn't take it seriously. Everything was a trillionth of a chance. Like you have 1 in a trillion chances that you could get this, and miraculously he gets it. He goes down and sets a world record of how far deep down he goes into a submarine, and he has all this gear. And they say if you don't use this gear and you don't breathe in and out in a consecutive, your lungs will explode and your capillaries will all blow up. And of course, he gets caught. He takes all the stuff off. He's naked, and he goes to the top and has a little convulsion thing, and then he's saved. And because he moved all around the water, they had to cut through ice, and they cut through ice, and they get him. And
Oh,
I'm like, wow, could this be more than a trillion chance that he lives? I mean, he lived. No,
yeah.
no
And
damage to his head, no damage to anything, just good to go. Back in the action.
yeah, all these movies, Tom Cruise is just a really, really, really lucky guy.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be world problems. If it wasn't for him, the problems wouldn't be solved. Like in the movie, the whole crux is everyone's pointing at him saying, the reason the world's about to die is because you caused all this. So he's the villain and then he's the hero, and they're both absolutely impossible that it could all be true. And I love Indian movies. I love European movies. I love indie movies. Indie movies, that's not Indian movies. Indie movies are just private movies that are done to tell a story, and it's okay if the story isn't liked. It's okay. It's just a story.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess we have to do a movie. We have to do a movie.
Mm.
Okay. So
Okay.
speaking of movies, are you ready for the rapid fire questions?
I think I am, but
Okay.
yeah, let's go ahead.
So before we go there, if anyone wanted to amplify their message, their heart-centered, purpose-driven message, you aid them in specifically social media, LinkedIn, Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram,
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. The big
Yeah.
three. And you help statistically analyze what's working and what isn't and tweaking it so that it works better. And
Yeah.
you get to know the person and converse with them enough that you become a version of that person, and that helps convert people that are not fans into being fans and fans into being potential customers. Is that well said? Did we
Yeah.
do it? All right.
Yeah.
How do people reach you?
They can reach out to me on my LinkedIn. They can also reach out to me on my email, which I will provide. And I'm not very active on Facebook, unfortunately, but LinkedIn and email are really the way to go.
Hey, use my Facebook to reach her.
Yes, yes, that's also an option.
Yeah, if you reach Dr. Smiley and you want to say hello to future Dr. Anjali Joshi. Then you can just say that and she'll know it's for her, not for me. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I've never had that happen before that I could say on the show. Just reach out to me to reach out to them.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
All
So
right.
we had a great show. Thank you so much for another great conversation. And I have a feeling that when you get your doctorate and we do your book, that it'll be another. You'll be a guest again, and also when we go to the Taj Mahal.
I'd be honored
So
for both of these things.
I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting this big. Okay. All right. So I have 5 quick questions for you that are called rapid fire, and if you'll get brief answers back. So, what book changed your life?
Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal by Janet Winterson.
It's a good one to read.
It's memoir.
Uh, okay. With that said, that's a good person for. Do you know her? Can you get to her?
Um, I don't know her. She's a very famous author based in
Yep.
the UK, but I can definitely try to email her. She's very private and recluse.
Yes. So the reason I'm saying this and putting you on the spot is this is how big of a question I can ask Dr. Angeli. And it's very important that you can say to somebody that works with you in co-pilot partnership, hey, this is a dream. And they say, oh, let me see what I can do to help you get that dream. So we have the International Smile-a-thon, and I am putting on you in partnership the invitation to invite as many people like her to be part of the authon that goes around for 48 hours about how
Okay.
it smiles the world. Of course, you're going to speak on behalf of not just India, but on behalf of a leader, a global leader.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, what you better not say, man, if I ask this question, you say Mission Impossible, I'm going to feel so dumb. All right. You ready? What movie inspires you?
There's so many of them. I recently finished watching The Shack, and that really, really stayed with me. I was having a very tough week, and I was bedridden for about 5, 6 days there, and that's what I did. I read the book, then I watched the movie, and I think that really influenced me. For me, not just in terms of the message that it had, but I think also for my inner child, it was so soothing to watch it. The characters, the experiences, the grief, especially because grief has been so huge in my own life, that just made such a difference.
Without grief, there's no joy.
Yeah,
And you and I have that in common. I didn't talk about that, but obviously, with my mom passing and your dad passing, we became different people. And
yeah,
I'll speak for myself, but I think it also would resonate with you is that life became more precious.
it did. I want to live my life the way my father wasn't able to.
Well, William Paul Young, who is a friend at least to the point that I can text him and he'll text me back, he he would be happy to hear that this his movie, but he wrote from his inner child too, that book. And
Yeah, I watched that actually.
yeah, you watched that show and we had a conversation and I said this is probably my favorite movie I could recommend to anybody. Such an important movie message. All right, what song gets you going?
It's it's by this indie band called Beirut, and the song is called The Riptide. I started listening to it right after my father passed away. Um,
So we're on Facebook
and
Live.
hmm?
We're on Facebook Live, so you can put that link to that song. Go ahead, and you were going to say something about your father.
Yeah, and I think there were times when I would just cry and cry and cry, and every time I heard this song, I felt like it was holding me, like it was enveloping me.
Hmm.
So I'll definitely recommend this to anybody. Can I just put the link here? And
You
where
can
can
put
I
it
put
right
it?
into the you can put it right on the show. It is live on Facebook right now. And by the way, since you're going to be sharing the show on LinkedIn and everywhere else, you'll be adding that link to everything. And
Okay, so I'll
we
add it there.
actually called the band and told them they could actually play a little bit of the music live on the show. We'll have to do that next time.
Yeah, it's called The Riptide by Beirut.
Beirut is it an Indian band? You said
No,
no, it's not. Is
no,
it
I
a
think English
European
band.
English band?
Yeah,
All right, Beirut.
yeah.
All right. And who's your hero?
So many of them. There's you, there's Michelle, there's my mom. In retrospect, my father as well. I I have so many heroes around me, and they inspire me for different things, and I'm so grateful for it.
Who would you like to meet that you haven't met?
Hmm. Gosh, I would love to meet Audre Lorde if there was some way we could go back in time.
And anybody that's alive now that you'd like to meet that you haven't?
Hmm. I think I'd love to meet Michelle Obama.
Okay, good. She's brought up a lot. And my final question for you is, what quote do you live by?
Hmm. Okay, there's a lot of them, but there is this thing. Somebody, this it changes. But my friend recently told me, "Your truth is your medicine,"
Your truth is your.
and your truth is your medicine. This is a very close friend,
Mhm.
and presently, that's the one that's alive for me.
Is that a
That I don't have to be somebody else.
is that their quote?
I think it's his quote. He was talking to me, and I was having a rough day, and he just, Anjali, remember, your truth is your medicine. You don't have to be somebody else for other people. All you can do, even in the most difficult moments, is be yourself. And that's what will heal you. And
You
that's
want,
what will keep you.
you want to give him credit?
Yeah, his name is Taru. He is also a musician and he goes by the stage name Delhi Sultanate. And he's like my brother, very, very dear to me.
Cool. So, as I said before, how much I'm inspired by India and the people of India. Gandhi is my favorite two quotes, and I would feel remiss if I left the show without saying how much those two quotes mean to me. And if Gandhi wasn't alive, they wouldn't be said and they wouldn't be my favorite. So, on one side, I see it on my forearm because it's a tattoo that I can see because I saw the tattoo on another person's arm that said, "My life is my message."
Yeah.
That's Gandhi. And then on this side, which is not a tattoo either, and I never saw this tattoo, but it's what I live for, which is, of course, the smile, which we have in, of course, Hindi. And that is happiness is when what you think and what you say and what you do are in harmony. Gandhi.
Yeah. Gosh. And all of it is also related to truth, right? Because Gandhi was also such a big proponent of truth and nonviolence.
100%. So what a beautiful divine show and conversation that we got to finally share, because we've had these conversations on little miniature micro levels, and then they've expanded as they will. But this was great to let the world hear how beautiful a conversation can be and how much you extend, propel, and amplify the goodness of a conversation.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This was such a joy. And thank you so much for watching to all the people who are tuning in right now and who will be watching it later. It means so much that you're here and that you're listening.
So share away and show
Yes.
Anjali that her message and her words have a ripple effect just like a good story does. This is Dr. Smiley, and thank you for tuning in and keep smiling.